We've got another question. So this is one that we had for you, actually. How would you advise a facilities manager to get involved in a digital innovation ecosystem?
Well, first, start reading and looking at YouTube videos on anything tech. Yeah, you've got these tech gurus around there. You've got the famous Bernard Marr, for example. He's got these little tech pills in 60 seconds. That helps. It helps, to focus a little bit on what's going on. LinkedIn, of course. Many articles are around there. Interesting things to read about. And second, start talking to startups. Give them a call. Make them come over. And see what they have in mind for you, and be open. I mean, Michael, you're not too young anymore, but many startups.
I'm an old man, Cindy. I'm an old man.
You're an old man like me, but yeah, many startups have as a CEO or the salespeople. They're like 30 years old or 28, and they might come over in a pair of jeans. You go like, but take them serious. I mean, they know what they're talking about. Start with that. Start to engage. Start to talk. Invite them. Show them your facilities and tell them, listen, we're doing this and that and that. The good thing about a startup is that they're always listening. They always want to make your service better, but also their service. So as soon as you've got a problem and it's not solved within the solution that they give, they're serious about that. They adjust and they adapt. And anyway, I always think, oh, poor startups, you're never ready. You better be a baker where you find a recipe for the ideal cookie and you can bake them for the rest of your lives. But you startups, it's like always, you're never ready. You get these huge financial means in from your investors, but it's all to invest in to get better. And tomorrow there's a new tech and you have to apply it and adjust it and new features and you're never ready. It's amazing. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's when you start to work with customers doing this daily, and you're right, startups, I think one of the beauties about startups, and I would say this because I help run one, is we're fleet of foot. As you said earlier, we can, if you've got a problem, and we do it for customers all the time, we do something for them day in and day out, and then they say, by the way, we've got something over here. Do you think you could help with that? And if we don't have the solution that day, when we work out together with the customer, the value of solving that problem, we'll build a solution for it. And that's something that startups are really good at. The big beasts, the CBREs, the JLLs, they're all working hard to try and become more agile than they are. They're investing in startups because they realize that the FM world is changing. And I think it is important for people, as you say, for FM managers, facilities managers, to go and talk to startups, but also events. I know we're virtually doing this via video. I know a lot of people have Zoom fatigue and virtual event fatigue, but some of these events have really good startups on there that could solve a problem for you, or you have a problem that you want to be thinking about, or you want to address, I should say. They're good things. When we can all go back to physical events, I think I like to go to events, not just to meet people, but when you've got a ton of technology in one space and you can really spend your time thinking about your problems and then walking around. Virtual events are a bit trickier, but they're still good because we're in lockdown and you can go to each virtual event. But going to events, I think, helps FM people as well, or anyone in a particular space. Because take the Excel Centre in London, it's massive. And if that's full of FM innovation, what a place to go with like a kid in a candy shop for a techie, right? And it's like, wow, what can I go and see? But when you can take your time and think about your own problems, whether you're having a coffee or your own lunch or you're sitting with other people, being able to go out there and see what is out there, I think you're right. Reading, studying, listening.
Webinars. Yeah. And I mean, you can get into a good webinar every week. And I would say every day almost.
Every day almost at the moment there's a webinar.
Yeah, there's also a lot of blah blah. I mean,
there is a lot.
Yeah. I would say go to the startup webinars because there's where you get most inspired and surprised, and you go like, waste, for example. You've got these startups. It's also from the UK. They're Winnow, and they have a device, and it sits on your litter bin, and it looks down to what you're throwing away, and then it can see exactly if it's French fries or pieces of apple, and they detect what it is, and then calculate with weight, etc., how much you are throwing away money, and you can your kitchen managers can adjust their schemes and their plans on that.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Come on, isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, the wastage of food in restaurants and corporate buildings who have restaurants, big financial services industry, companies, that could be huge savings.
Yeah, and these savings, you must not put them in your pocket, but you must invest them in the next startup.
Yeah.
Just keep on going.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So if you're a service provider, engage with startups, get them on board, start talking, and make this like unbeatable top service together with them. And also, it's nice because you can start talking about different things with your clients. It's not anymore about the typical things that facility managers talk about, but it's about hours and KPIs and things like. But like on new things, what is happening around that? It's just great conversation material too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, Cindy, we haven't had any more live questions. Thank you for the people who did put them in. I haven't got any other questions written down that I had written before this, but thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you joining. It's great to meet you, and I'm sure we'll be in touch again very soon. We are changing things up for the next event. I'm just reading it here because I hadn't read this earlier, so that's my bad. We have on the next event, we'll have one of 3 panel speakers, which is on the 9th of June. So Caleb Tracy is one. Who the others are yet, I don't even know myself, but you'll have to tune in to find out. So yeah, the next one, 9th of June. But Cindy, a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much. I'm hoping the weather is better in Spain than it is here in the UK.
It is. Sorry, but it is. Yeah.
Perfect. Lovely. Cindy, thank you very much. Hang on, we've had a question. Hi, Cindy. Hello, Michael. FMs seem to be such an old school, traditional old guys show. Do you think FM companies realize that they should also innovate to be more attractive to millennials?
That's a good one.
This is what we were talking about just before the show.
Just before. Yeah. I was saying to Mike, can you imagine that you've got a new colleague in your facility management team and you say, oh, we don't do email here. There's the fax machine. Or you say, you think, you wouldn't do that ever. But now it's like the same with the millennials coming in as building users. It can be customers, but it can also be people on your own team. Or in your company, your colleagues from other departments, you have to start changing because your user is changing. He's getting younger, or she. So living in a different world, you have to keep up with that pace of society. Your building has to adapt to society, to the pace of society. Yeah. So maybe in 10 years, these metal keys that we have around there in the drawer won't be there anymore, and that's good. It's good.
It is good, and it's something we talked about literally prior to the show. Balaz, so thank you for sending it in. We were literally talking about this. I actually said that people in FM like to wear their underpants on the outside, which means they want to be Superman, but not all of them want to do that. But it is, and I was saying, I don't know any really young facilities managers in the market. I think if there were more of them, there would be more innovation. But as Cindy said earlier, a lot of people don't get budgets to do innovation in FM. So it's a bit of a catch-22, a bit of a tricky situation. So you've got to figure out how you do that, building a business case around it. But there is space for millennials. I think having more of them in will probably pull it faster into the 21st century. But yeah, it's a tricky one. A lot of FM people are ex-military, more so in different parts of the world as well. And they like rules, they like regulations. but you do need to be flexible. You do need
yeah,
to.
But I want to defend the facility manager here. Eh?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, it's the guy who fixes everything. And there are so many universities around there. Also in Holland, for example, and I look at that a little bit more than in other countries maybe. But you've got universities where every year there are hundreds of facility managers coming out and doing a great job. It's not that. It's not that. The failure of facilities management managers not getting more into innovation is A, budget, and B, especially access, easy access. That's why we created our free basic membership. We said, okay, we have to give access to everybody. Any facility manager in the world, worldwide world, has to do clack, 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 and see a list of all the best startups that are around there, balanced. Some waste, some digital twins, some workplace, some energy, some maintenance, and show who's around there. And at that moment, I'm sure that facility managers say, great, but this is for us. Boom, and go for it.
They should all do that. Every single one.